The scale stopped, and panic usually starts right there for most people. Many people assume Wegovy or Zepbound suddenly failed once the early drop faded and the weekly reward disappeared. Most of the time, that is not the real reason. A stall usually means your body burns less, movement dropped, or water and digestion are masking the real progress. Early loss feels loud. Later loss feels quiet. The first months give fast feedback, then the same routine seems to do almost nothing. That is where people make the wrong comparison. They compare month 4 to month 1 instead of asking what changed underneath. A stall is not the same story as Wegovy or Zepbound truly losing effect. That distinction matters because the next move is different. If you mix those two stories together, you usually make the wrong decision. I'm Dr. Kim, a licensed physician. This is not medical advice. Consult your doctor. When Wegovy or Zepbound seems to stall, the medicine may still be helping. The harder part is that your body now needs less energy, and the scale gets easier to fool. If you do not separate those two problems, you start fixing the wrong one. Start with the simplest mechanism. A smaller body needs less energy. Resting burn drops as weight drops. That is the energy your body uses just to stay alive. The same amount of food that once caused weight loss may now barely move the scale. That is expected biology, not sudden treatment failure. There is also adaptive thermogenesis. The name sounds technical, but the meaning is simple. During weight loss, the body becomes more efficient, which means it burns fewer calories doing the same things. So the slowdown is not just about weight. The body is quietly spending less too. That hidden shift makes the scale even harder to trust. A flat reading does not prove fat loss stopped that same week. The scale measures total body weight, not just fat. Water, food still in the gut, and stool waiting to leave can all blur the picture. Real change can keep happening behind those daily fluctuations. Water is one of the biggest reasons. A salty meal, poor sleep, constipation, a hard workout, or monthly hormone shifts can move water enough to hide real progress. Fat moves slowly. Water can move overnight. That mismatch can make a normal week look like treatment failure. Slower digestion adds another layer. Wegovy, which contains semaglutide, and Zepbound, which contains tirzepatide, both slow how fast your stomach empties. Food can stay in the system longer, and bowel habits can slow too. That means the number on the scale can stay elevated, but it does not tell you whether that weight is fat. The next mechanism is quieter. It is daily movement, not your formal workout. Think standing, pacing, stairs, cleaning, and all the motion you barely notice. During weight loss, many people do less without realizing it. That drop can quietly cancel out the calorie gap you thought you had. This is the uncomfortable truth. The leaner you become, the next phase gets stricter. Early weight loss flatters almost everyone. Later weight loss exposes the details. The body is no longer giving easy wins, which means easy feedback is over, not that treatment failed. One misunderstanding shows up right here. People think slower loss means the drug quit, but these drugs can still help appetite and fullness while the numbers stop working in your favor. Both things can be true at the same time, and that is exactly where the next mistake usually happens. The mistake most people make at this point is reacting too hard. A stall often comes from burning just a few hundred fewer calories a day, but many people see that flat number, panic, and cut calories far too hard. Protein falls, fatigue rises, and the metabolism slows even further. Then they conclude the medicine quit, when panic made the picture worse. That is why one dramatic week can mislead you. A single higher weigh in may reflect water, slower bowel timing, or a late salty meal. It may say almost nothing about fat. If one emotional number controls the story, you will usually read the story wrong. That happens partly because early weight loss conditions your brain to expect a weekly reward. The scale moves, the effort feels real, and the results show up on cue. When that loop goes quiet, the brain reads silence as failure. But silence is not stopping. It is the same effort meeting a harder phase. Now we get to what actually matters. Do not judge a stall by one bad week, judge it by a pattern across several weeks. If appetite is better, waist size is still moving, and intake is controlled, the answer may be patience and better tracking. If hunger is clearly louder, and your weekly averages stay flat or keep creeping up, that is a different conversation. There is another layer people do not expect. Less food can mean less protein, and less protein raises the risk of losing muscle. If muscle falls too easily, energy burn can fall with it. Then the stall feels even more stubborn. The scale is not the only measure worth tracking. If the scale is flat but waist size is smaller, that is not the same as failure. If strength is stable and appetite is calmer, that matters too. Each signal catches something the others miss. The key is how you read those signals over time. One heavy day means little. 4 weeks of weekly averages tell a much more reliable story. Morning weights help because you have not yet eaten or drunk anything, and waist measurement adds a second signal. A practical rule helps. If weekly averages stay flat for 6 to 8 weeks, check 4 things: movement, protein, constipation, and hunger. Each one points to a different fix. Treating a noisy scale as if treatment failed, or ignoring real hunger coming back, will send you in the wrong direction. Resistance training matters for the same reason. It tells the body that muscle is still needed. You do not need a perfect gym life. But if all the pressure is on eating less and none is on keeping muscle, later fat loss can get harder. 2 more factors belong in this list. Poor sleep can change hunger hormones, lower recovery, and reduce daily movement the next day. Stress is the other one, because it changes choices, fluid balance, and consistency. Both quietly chip away at the conditions that make fat loss possible. Once you account for all of those factors, the decision becomes clearer. If waist size is still falling, appetite is still quieter, and your averages are only wobbling, keep reading the pattern. If hunger is returning, movement has fallen hard, and the trend has been flat for many weeks, then the plan needs review. So what should you do when weight loss stalls on Wegovy or Zepbound? First, use weekly averages, not isolated weigh-ins. Second, protect protein so slower loss does not become weaker loss. Third, push up ordinary movement because extra steps often matter more than one heroic workout. Fourth, give the slower phase enough time to reveal itself before declaring failure. The memorable sentence is this: a stall is often not the end of fat loss, it is the end of easy feedback. When Wegovy or Zepbound seems to stall, the real reason is usually not that the medicine suddenly quit. More often, the body adapted to a lower weight, daily movement fell, and water or slower digestion blurred the scale. Read the pattern before you change the plan. Medicine simplified. That's what this channel does. If you want more, hit subscribe. This is not medical advice. Consult your doctor.